When did you realize your family was using you? When my grandmother died and left me her house, my entire family suddenly became very interested in my well-being. For 23 years, I was the family screw-up. Dropped out of college, worked retail, lived in a studio apartment. My cousins were doctors and lawyers. I was the cautionary tale. Then Grandma Rose passed and shocked everyone by leaving me her Victorian house worth $800,000. The will reading was brutal. My successful cousins got jewelry and furniture. I got the mansion. Within hours, my phone was buzzing. "Honey, we should talk about your inheritance," Mom said. "That house is a big responsibility." My uncle called next. "You know, maintaining that place costs a fortune. Maybe we should discuss options." Suddenly, I was invited to every family dinner. My cousin Jessica, who hadn't spoken to me in 5 years, started texting daily. "How are you adjusting to home ownership?" The attention felt amazing after years of being ignored. 2 months later, Mom suggested I move back home. "The house is too isolated for a young woman alone. We could rent it out and split the income." "Split it how?" I asked. "Well, as a family. Grandma would want us all to benefit." That weekend, my uncle showed up with real estate papers. I found a buyer. Cash offer, $750,000. We could divide it equally among all the grandchildren. All the grandchildren? I stared at him, but she left it to me. "Family shares, sweetheart. That's what Rose would have wanted." Jessica nodded eagerly. "It's only fair. We're all struggling with student loans." I looked around the room. 8 cousins, 3 aunts, 2 uncles, all staring at me expectantly. "Let me think about it," I said. That night, I found Grandma's journal in her bedroom. The entry from 2 months before she died made everything clear. "The family treats my little sparrow like she's worthless. They don't see her heart. When I'm gone, they'll come circling like vultures. I'm leaving her everything because she's the only one who visited me without wanting something. I hope she's strong enough to keep what's hers." My hands shook reading it. The next morning, Mom called. "So what did you decide about the house?" "I've decided to live in it." "Don't be ridiculous. You can't afford the utilities on a retail salary." "Then I guess I'll have to get a better job." The family group chat exploded. Jessica called me selfish. My uncle threatened to contest the will. Mom said I was spitting on Grandma's memory, so I did something that would have made Grandma proud. I invited them all over for Sunday dinner. They came expecting me to announce the sale. Instead, I served them on Grandma's good china and made her famous pot roast recipe. After dinner, I stood up. "I wanted you all here to make an announcement." They leaned forward, smiling. "I'm keeping the house, all of it, and I'm changing the locks tomorrow." The room erupted. "You can't do this to family," Mom shouted. "You're right," I said, pulling out Grandma's journal. "Family doesn't do this to each other." I read them the entry about vultures. Uncle Mike's face went red. "She was senile when she wrote that. She was lucid enough to leave me everything and you nothing." Jessica tried grabbing the journal. "That's private property. So is this house." I walked to the front door and held it open. "Dinner's over. Please leave." One by one, they filed out. Mom was last. "You'll regret this," she said. "The only thing I regret is believing you actually cared about me." I closed the door and locked it. 6 months later, I'm working as a freelance graphic designer from Grandma's art studio. The house is paid off. I've never been happier. Last week, Mom texted, asking if I'd changed my mind about selling. I blocked her number. Grandma was right about the vultures, but she was also right about me being strong enough to keep what's mine.